Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Princess of Discs. Which, what a wonderful Virgo energy. And let's go ahead and look at the tea leaves, see what they have to say. So I immediately, before I look at anything else, I immediately see we have it looks like a person holding a baby. Right? You can see the person here, they're facing, holding up, and here's the baby. You can see the face, but then you can also see a face here, right in here with the nose and the mouth and maybe a little bit of a beard. So very interesting. And I want to look at the rest of, I want to turn this before we kind of get into what this has to do with, but we also have a 1. So the 1 is important. Okay, we have an eagle. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry I'm being quiet. I'm really looking at this. This is really interesting. As it turns, you can see it just is telling quite a story. So I want to start. I also want to say if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but we would love to have you here at the channel, watching your readings and so on, maybe interacting in the comments if you so choose. There are a lot of really nice people on here, and I see that the community here really has emerged. I see a lot of people kind of interacting with each other's comments, and I know that people have actually made friends here, so that's a nice thing. Okay, so we have the child, we have the face, and the face is interesting. I feel like it really, what it says to me immediately, I thought, okay, so this is like, I wonder if you've had a child or a grandchild, okay, come into your life fairly recently, or this is maybe you had your child years ago, but you're really reminiscing about those early years. Maybe there's a birthday coming up or something. But I feel like there was also maybe a grandfather, your grandfather, or like a father figure. Okay. And I feel like they passed. They transitioned before the baby was born. And I feel like that has always been kind of a really touchy thing, right? You've always wished that they knew each other because this father figure was so important to you, or grandfather, somebody in the family. But this tells me, and I think you already know this. I think this is, you're already very aware of this. This person is very much alive in your life, even if they have transmuted from their physical form, they're still so active in your very being. And in your family line as well. I think that this child, and I'm not saying this is I absolutely do not like the idea of, I'm not going to get on a rant about it, but I feel like it is a terrible injustice to somebody's individuality when we say so-and-so reincarnated into my child, my grandchild, whatever. I don't like it because it takes away from the identity of the emerging person. We project aspects of somebody onto them. And I don't think that's fair. But are there strands of consciousness that our ancestors are, very much alive in us? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So I really think that this child has a very similar maybe personality, or they have mannerisms, or whatever it is. And it's very apparent that they are family members, that they are close in consciousness, even if they have not ever known one another because of timing. And I feel like this is something, I feel like it's something that it's like it is a wound in your heart, and it still is a wound. But I feel like it's like, hey, don't be sad about this. I'm still here, and I'll be with you. I'll be with this child who maybe is an adult by now, right? But I'm always with you, and I'm always with them. I'm always with my family. We all walk beside each other. We've chosen each other. And this feels like a really important message. I feel like they really, are coming through. It's very, it's very resonant. Okay. Now let's see. No, I want to go this way because now we have, where did it go? Yes, it was it this way? Yeah, no, this is it. Okay, so we have the eagle, okay? And you can see the head, the wings, the tail. And so, yeah, very strong intellect. I mean, in it, the eagle, the hawk, the falcon to maybe a lesser degree, but these birds, I think of as flying high. So they have a perspective that is great and greater yet. To see the vast lands, to be in a position most terrestrial beings can't even comprehend, right? So also creativity, dreaming, being close to the cosmos, that beautiful sky, right? And so, and I think that this is probably a power animal sign for you, okay? And that makes sense to me, even though we're very earthy people. I say we because I'm a solar Virgo. It makes sense to me because we are in our heads a lot, aren't we? We really are. And so, I feel like in this time period, not only is it important to be using, that strong intellect that you definitely have, But I think it's important for you to be engaging in some creative processes, and not even just like producing something, but I think really in the imaginative part is really important. Conceiving of ideas, wandering through your psyche, taking kind of a mental trip, right? Or break or whatever it is, going somewhere that is inspiring to you, being in a place that makes you dream, imagine, things that are outside of your ordinary life. Maybe trying techniques. I love to talk about active imagination. If you don't know what that is, it's not dissimilar to like maybe guided meditation or, a kind of meditation that involves imagery. And if you are interested in active imagination or even like maybe transcendental meditation, look up some prompts, okay? I won't bore you with mine. I do talk about them on here sometimes. And at some point when I do have, maybe when my kid goes to school full time, I really fully hope to. I really think that I will start a guided meditation channel, because I have a lot of them. I spend a lot of time in these places of active imagination when I'm allotted the time, or I allot the time, I should say, and so anyways, yeah, I think it's important. It's definitely I think sometimes we get into these times of year, and I don't know if you are like me, but I love the winter. It is the winter where I'm at. But it's just, I get into a place of feeling quite blue, melancholy. I feel listless and forlorn a lot of times. I'm still busy and doing things. And, when I was younger, I could just, work at night and stay in bed all day and feel sad for myself and really indulge in that melancholy feeling. But these days I'm pretty busy but it still lingers. And so I find my reprieve through these interior landscapes, these kind of sub-realities and doing the work, really, the high work, you would call it, the spiritual work, the alchemical work, or the psychological alchemy, or Jungian, if you know the channel. I don't really abide by alignments or kind of belonging to any kind of movement or anything, but I would definitely say that I'm somewhat of a Jungian, definitely. So, I think that this is a place where we can save ourselves. I fully believe that being able to go into ourselves and work through scenarios. It doesn't have to be directly looking at the problem or the pain or the trauma directly until we work up to that, right? But creating an environment where we are being creative, and through that creative work, through that creative energy, which we could call sublimation as well, we are able to process concepts, feelings, energies that they're strands of the bigger hurts. Okay, and so I think this is a good time for this kind of work. Okay, and something that I can't recommend enough, really. Okay, so what else do we have? We have a buffalo right here. And you can see the legs. You can kind of see the back there. Now I will tell you, the buffalo is my first totem animal. And I mentioned this in a recent reading, and somebody asked me, well, how do I find my totem animal? Well, I don't really know exactly. Now I am Choctaw. My father, who has passed, was also Choctaw man, and he would do sweat lodges and vision work and so on, and so this came about when I was young, and this is my first totem that he received in a vision. And I think that it's true. I'm also, the year of the ox. So I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. My personality is not dissimilar. So I just want to answer that. I left a comment, and I don't know that it was a Virgo reading, but, if you are watching and you did ask this question, or if you have wondered about totem animals, I am not a medicine person. I'm not somebody who, because of, frankly, diaspora and being disconnected from my culture, I don't really know, but I do, but at the same time, there is that genetic memory, right? And I do have visions, and I do, obviously have interior workings and things. So my best answer would say, and this is outside of any culture or kind of taking from anybody's techniques or anything like this, is that if you find yourself experiencing animals in your dreams, or you have visions, you have impressions of an animal and their symbolic attributes, or they show themselves to you. And you'll know what I mean if you have had spiritual events happen, or synchronicities, or anything like this. Then I would say this is one of your totems. Right? If something has a particular, a great meaning to you, then it is part of the tapestry of your life, and some are more prominent than others. I believe that we could have many animals that represent aspects of our life and psyche and being. And so, I think that in some ways it's very complex, and maybe I don't understand all of it, and that's probably very true. On the other hand, I do believe it is quite simple, and we just know if we listen to our intuition. Now, this is outside of any tradition, right, or any practice. So I'm not an expert. And unfortunately, I don't really have a connection to any of my cultures, which I have a few. And that's just kind of the way that things have gone in my life, because so much of my family has passed away. But, I look at this and this brings this up for me, and I want to talk about, sometimes this idea of finding symbols in our life that are meaningful, because it's important for us to have them. I do believe that. I think that it's important for us to find things that represent power, that represent, events that happen in our lives, to make markers. They don't have to just be animals. I happen to like animals. I have a great affinity for most animals. So a lot of my, symbols are animals. They don't have to be the same for you. So now if we're looking directly at the buffalo and you're thinking, okay, well, how does that relate to me, Lenor? You've talked about you. Yeah, so the buffalo is a being, and a lot of these large beings I like to think of in this way. The oxen, and this actually, let me just say, it's a misnomer. This is the American bison, really. When we do call it the buffalo, but really the buffalo would be like a water buffalo. So, anyways, these large animals, a rhino, a hippopotamus, these large beings, when they move with reason, okay? It takes a lot of calories to just walk, to just get around. And so they eat a lot, they drink a lot, they stick to places where they can feed and water and sleep, and they're protected and so on. So when I see it, I think, yeah, you are somebody, and this is definitely a Virgo, in my opinion. You are somebody who makes careful decisions. You don't just always do things frivolously, okay? You're free-spirited, but within, the context of what makes sense to you. You don't just, it would be very out of character, I think, if you just absolutely abandoned your responsibilities or, your life plan or at least your goals that you're working on. Things are thought out, okay? And so the other part of that is there's a lot of patience until there's not. Usually pretty chill. Just kind of doing your own thing, getting along. And then if you are pushed, okay, I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to see how this plays out. Just try to disengage and, whatever it is. But if you keep getting pushed, you're going to stomp somebody, right? It's just going to have to, it's a stampede. It absolutely, you are not going to back down. It's not, you don't disengage because you don't have courage. It's because it's beneath what you're doing. You have other things going on. This is not interesting to me. This is not of value to me. This does not, bear any kind of service to my life. But if you keep pushing me, if you keep invading my space, if you keep inserting yourself into parts of my life where you don't belong, wow, we're going to have to get it, right? So, there's that energy. Now, I don't think this is going on, but I think that this is something that, sometimes we forget this about ourselves. Sometimes life just kind of goes along and things are pretty simple. Or maybe they're complex, but we don't have a lot of drama going on. And that's ideal. But we forget, I think, how spirited we really can be. And when I see this, I think it's a reminder to you, you're not no punk, right? And the way that I think, and this is the thing about, I think, Virgos too, is that people think, I guess, from the stereotypes I read about, that we're uptight, we're controlling, blah, blah, blah. But I also think that people I think there's this idea that, because I feel like most Virgos are pretty kind, like to take care of things, like to keep things going, keep things together, very, detail-oriented. But that we might get annoyed, we might get angry, we might kind of, have our little, be argumentative or whatever, but we're not really going to do anything. And I don't think that that's the thing. I think it's just that we're people that we don't want to fight. We just, but that doesn't mean that, and it's not even it's not even fighting. It's just like making a hard decision, right? Cutting somebody out of your life, walking away from a situation, sometimes taking a loss because this really is not the right, this dynamic is off. The strength is immense. But we don't have to show it off all the time. Because we know what we are. Sometimes though we forget a little bit. Especially when we're in love, I think is the thing too. It's like you have to remember who you are. Sometimes you forget. You forget that yeah. So anyways. Oh, we do have a little face there. We have a little, it reminds me of, and it reminded me of just a dream. Oh, we have a 1 and a 3 and a 12. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we have 1, 3 right there. So we have 12 and 13. Then we have this face right here, and it reminds me of an alien. Which reminds me of my dream I had last night. I dreamt of an owl. I was dreaming that there was like it was like a barn, but or like a rabbit hutch or like some kind of, like a chicken coop or something. And I could hear something in there, and I went outside and I was looking, and I could hear something in there, and I kind of like bent down a little bit and looked underneath, and there was an owl under there, kind of sitting in there, and it looked at me right in the eyes, and I felt it so deeply, and I thought, oh my God, I wasn't supposed to see that. I wasn't supposed to see that. I'm not supposed to see this. And I thought, they're going to take somebody. I don't know. They're going to take somebody in my life. Something's going on, right? And then when I woke up, I kind of forgot about it. And then I thought, I kind of remembered, I can't remember why, but I remembered I saw this owl, and I know that from like ufology, lore or whatever, that the owl is very much related with the Greys. It's kind of like an image they put in your mind. So when you come to from a encounter or being, taken or whatever, that you remember that owl face kind of staring at you. And I was like, now I see this, and what a profound feeling. Have you ever had, you don't have to talk about it publicly or anything, but if you want to share, if you've had encounters with, extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial or interdimensional or whatever it is, I'd love to hear about it. I really do. I like hearing about these things. I've had some things happen in my life that, and my sister, hi Lisa, if you're watching, we're both Virgos, so my older sister, my beloved sister, she, and I don't think she would mind me saying this, but she's had some encounters as well, so maybe something in the family, I don't know. But yeah, so I see this, and I don't know. I just wanted to share that. I don't know. Maybe you have had, it looks like it's just hidden in things. I can't tell you if you've had encounters, and I don't know, but it seems like maybe there's some interest there at least for you. And if you want to share, please do. If you don't feel okay doing that publicly, in the comments, I have an email. It's in the description of the videos. And also, if you become a member of the channel, I think it's like $1.99 or something like that. You can get access to our Discord, which there's a few of us in there and we talk a lot. And if any, I don't think anybody's a Virgo over there, but I love all of the Discord people that we chit chat on there and stuff, and it's one of my favorite things. But yeah, if you become a member, you have access to that Discord, and you can definitely come in there and talk to us because we talk about lots of stuff. Okay, let's see. We have a sailboat, we have a heart, we have an E. We have another E. We have a flower. I keep getting in my head this feeling of like, where are you? Where did you go? Are you coming back? It's like an old love. Feels like a young love as well. Feels delicate and intense. And I feel like we have the E, but it's also a spiral. It feels like, it feels like this is like a love, a lover, a crush, maybe unrequited, maybe unrealized, but somebody who's never left you. You think about them. You maybe even measure most things to how you felt with them. And I think there, you know, with the sailboat, there seems to be a sense of kind of, if you aren't going to them in the physical, I think that you kind of, it's like a most special place to visit. Once in a while it comes up and you find yourself kind of reminiscing, kind of swimming in the essence of, you know, this kind of thing. And I think because it is a young love, and it is a love that maybe ended without great, you know, fallout, or at least, I don't know, there's that, like maybe you didn't get married or, you know, live together or whatever. The things that happen when you take a young love and put it into something that is more functional and everyday and involved, it doesn't diminish the love, but it becomes different because you become partners, you know, and you have to face a lot of things together, and there's a lot of hurdles and the seasons of love that happen within a long-term relationship. It becomes a more enduring kind of love, right? Something that is long burning instead of, you know, it flames out quickly. So this is kind of like, it's a love that is put into a special little box that's put into the back of your psyche somewhere, right? And this seems to be very resonant right now. Okay, so let's take a look. We have the Mary Magdalene Oracle cards by Megan Watterson, illustrations by Moonjube. And I'm just going to flip through here. And it says, I call myself back from all times and all places. Presence. I exist intensely. Okay, this is like literally what we were just talking about. We get lost. We go sailing into that place, and it feels good. It can feel very good. It can be very sad as well, but we have to pull ourselves back into the presence, right? Present, and be present So we have a presence. And I think that, you know, because if we stay in those places for too long, even the interior, you know, we have to balance it out with our waking life. Because if we aren't present in our waking life, everything else kind of falls it crumbles, right? And so, you know, I think it's important to honor the now as well. It is. Okay, Virgo, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such a honor and a pleasure. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all and they mean so much to me. Also, if you want to advertise your small business, your channel, your service, go over to the community section and there's a post there where you can leave that info. Okay, I'm going to say I love you. We will talk soon. Take care of yourself. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.